Hello, ecosystem party people. We won't use that one again. Very excited to be back here with my co-host Bob here. Bob, you want to say hi?
Hey, hello. Welcome back to episode, we'll call it 2. We'll see what order we do these in, but we're recording it as number 2.
Awesome. And I am Lindsay, the other co host here, and super, super excited about today's episode. So, last episode, we did a bit of a kind of mixed bag of content, introduced you guys to what we want to do here on this podcast. And today, we are going to do something that is very near and dear to Bob's heart, and that I won't try and put a hard percentage on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he spends over 50% of his time doing it. And it is dun da 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 creating AI videos.
I love this. I'm like super passionate about it. I'm going to clock it at more like 5%, and you're going to see why, because it's like fast and wickedly cool. But yeah, I find every possible way I can to make it seem like I'm doing work when I'm really doing this hobbyist thing that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, if you guys follow Bob or Crossbeam on LinkedIn, you will have seen some of his previous videos. He's done a ton of these for our conferences, events, speaking engagements. And yeah, I guess my first question for you, Bob, is how did you get into this? What made you think, yeah, I should make a kind of crazy AI advertisement for this event?
Yeah, so going all the way back to my very first company, RJ Metrics, we did some kind of attempting to be viral style, like video content along the way. One of them was like a music video, and we did some like song parody stuff. And I very manually filmed, lit, scripted, recorded, edited together it was probably iMovie at the time, to like bring these things to life. And in doing so, developed like amateur level skills in how to do every little piece of the stack of kind of like end-to-end video production. And then we had later on at RJ, we had like a video team, and we did more like polished video things that I stayed close to. I don't know why I like it. I just do. I think it scratches an itch like creatively that isn't part of my day to day in the like nerdy CEO world. When AI video started coming onto the scene, um, and it got good, especially with the Google VO models and some of the newer Sora stuff that's come out. Uh, it just became really, really obvious really quickly that the thing that used to take me a week to do, I could probably do in minutes now, because I don't need to know about lighting and about lenses, and I don't need to have a recording studio or borrow a friend's high value mic and Pro Tools license to go record like an audio backtrack. And I don't need to hire actors or rely on other people at the company to be available to film. And, all of these things could basically be solved for with AI almost instantaneously. And it cuts the cost and the production life cycle down by multiple orders of magnitude. And it just means that anything that you can imagine can suddenly exist so incredibly rapidly that it's hard not to do it. And now I've gotten in this zone where if I'm on a flight, if I am like, sitting in bed and like would normally play a video game for an hour or do a crossword puzzle, this actually is like a little bit of like a meditative release. It's like a way to do something creative and create an output. And as a side effect, it's helps promo whatever webinar we've got coming up or whatever the reason is.
Very nice. And one thing I realized as Bob was walking me through his process on this is it also it takes some knowledge of what makes a good promo video too. I think that's the part that surprised me at first is all the different components of this and all the different steps that go into putting it all together. And you have to know that a promo video sounds better if you have a background track and you have a voiceover. And that's stuff that I think if somebody were going at it for the first time might be a part of the learning curve is just how to even put together a video like that.
Totally fair. I feel like the taste is the one thing that AI hasn't quite nailed yet and is obviously super subjective. And because these AI models are all probabilistic, taste isn't something that you actually want to move toward the mean. You
Mhm.
like kind of have to have something that is contrarian or differentiated, which by definition, unless you really squeeze it out of these models or push them in a certain direction, you're just not going to get. So like having a vision around something is the only thing left, I think, that's really human in this whole thing. And then like, it can gravitate toward the mean on sounding like a pop song or, like, sounding like the movie guy announcer or picking the right lighting to do a scene in, and combining those things, you're right, is, like, the real superpower. It's a 2 by 2 matrix, you could almost describe it. It's like,
Here we
do
go.
you have taste and do you have production value?
So, what we're going to do today, and the reason we're talking about this is because we have been saying these past few minutes, there are a few steps to actually be able to put together one of these videos. There isn't just one tool that does all of it, and so it's a bit of a process. And Bob has spent a lot of time honing that process and getting it down, like he said, where he can put together a whole promo video. I don't know what sub half hour. That's what we're going to do here. So we'll say
Yeah, I
that.
mean, we've got 30 minutes here
Yeah.
on the clock, and yeah, let's try. We're going to try to go end to end and build a 15-second long promo video for this podcast. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the exercise. We are going to create a promo video here for this podcast, very meta. So first, when we're starting this, like if you're starting a project like this, Bob, like what's the first kind of thing you do when you're outlining it? We're talking about the different components a little bit. Like what are those different components? What are the steps we're going to take here?
yeah. So the big thing that I think you need is some kind of vision around a script or a story that you are going to tell, as like a baseline. And you can actually use AI to help coach you along in this. Again, the less generic you are, the better. And maybe the AI is not going to be great at that, but we're going to actually try to use it here to basically do that dirty work for us. And that's all like your classic ChatGPT chat style, just generative AI text part of the journey. Once you have that, you want to kind of storyboard out what the visuals are going to be that line up with that text or that script. And then once you have those, you start going into the like high fidelity multimedia components, which means turning your storyboard ideas into moving actual video assets and providing supplemental media that makes it richer in nature, namely background music and any kind of narration or non-dialogue like vocal synced words that are said in the background. So usually my end products always have all these layers to it, but I'm always starting out with just this like, what are the beats of the story and what are the big visual cues? And that is something that you could whiteboard out, or you could use AI to help you kind of put together. But we're going to start there, right? So we'll start with text, and then we'll go to still images, and then we'll probably go to voiceover and music, and then we'll go to the high fidelity video to like fill it out at the end. Does that sound good?
Right. That sounds great. So to recap, it's you have to have a vision. That's where the taste comes in. We're going to generate a script for this thing and have some ideas around what it's going to look like. Uh, oh, awesome. We're going right in. We're going to do that. That's our first step. Then we're going to create still images. Then we're going to do a voiceover, background music, and then chop it all together.
Amazing.
Sounds
Yeah,
right?
that is exactly right.
Cool.
You can use your text generator of choice here. We're using a lot of Google products today because of the image generation in Nano Banana and the Google VO video generation. So I'm just going to stick with the whole Google thing and use Gemini for this as well. But maybe I can use like
It's not a Google advertisement, but maybe.
advanced math and code. I'll just go with fast because we're on a time and budget here. Tell me if this sounds about right. It sounds like I need to create a promo video for my new podcast, The AI Ecosystem, that I host with Lindsey DeFalco. By the way, I'm Bob Moore, CEO of Crossbeam, and Lindsey is our Chief Product Officer. And we're going to say, give me a 15-second long script for such a video. Assume I have super badass skills for being able to render any AI video asset I need to back it up. Narration is fine, as is dialogue, but give me something good. The theme of the podcast is discussions about the intersection of AI and ecosystems, partnerships, tech integrations, etc. All right, let's see what this thing gives. Oh wow, it's giving me like visuals as
Oh,
well.
wow. Okay.
This is cool. It's kind of like just telling us what to do, um, which is
Yeah.
neat. But I don't feel like rendering or 5 distinct clips here. So I'm wondering if can we make this only have 3 or 4 distinct visual
And
clips.
we'll get into that a little more later too about the length of the clips that are generatable and how you go about trying to clip them together. Because I know we talked about that a little bit before, but there's some software limitations to what you can do there.
That's a great point. Yeah, the one remaining thing at the very end here is piecing all this stuff together is not an AI exercise. It's a very deterministic, like classic video editing exercise,
Yep.
um, which we'll do as part of this. So, all right, cool. This
Okay, they're
is
really setting the scene for us here.
Yeah, so here's the cool thing. We have this like audio narration here. So
Yeah.
let's actually start here because this will help us with our storyboarding and timing and pacing. I'm gonna hop over here. There's a couple of services that I really like around narration. One of them, probably like the most popular, is 11 Labs. And 11 Labs is this giant universe slash marketplace of voices that are available to be rendered and kind of have them say whatever you want. It's almost like a limitless universe that you can filter by all kinds of accents and origins and speeds and inflections and all kinds of other things. I'm actually going to use this other service called Artlist to do this voiceover. I think they are just using 11 Labs in the background, but I happen to have a bunch of free credits on Artlist, so I'm gonna use Artlist. Oh, and let me uh, make sure that I am actually sharing. Oh, great! I'm sharing tab audio. So first, let's pick a voice here. Lindsay, I'll let you pick. I'll play a couple of these, but this
Yeah.
voice is going to say something like, "AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel." I'm
All
Bob
right.
Moore. Oh, so it should kind of sound like me. If we had time, by the way, I could use 11 Labs to synthesize my own voice, but I'm not doing all that right now.
I was
So,
gonna. I'll tee up a question for later around why do you use voiceover versus dialogue and how dialogue has evolved in terms of matching up with
whoa,
video. We can
yeah,
we'll get
bring
into
that up.
that.
I don't remember when it began.
Pass.
Welcome to your first day, team member 7493G7. We're happy.
Nah. Oh,
Serenity is
it's
just
so
quiet.
serene.
The next exercise is going to focus on our anger control. And it's the
Yeah.
fourth
Meditation app.
Yeah, gloom. Let's see what gloom.
There's a second.
Let's do this since I know it says I'm Bob. There is some filtering that we can probably do here. Um, English speaking, and we'll go with male, and we'll say, oh, phew, I'm glad they didn't have numbers. Let's just go with
Like
middle
middle
age.
aged there.
I dodged a bullet there.
Tell your story exactly how you imagine it, with a voice that brings your ideas to life and captures every emotion.
Bad. Sounds like a product, a bit more like a product.
Tell your story exactly how you imagine it with a voice.
It's got my southern accent.
Yeah.
Tell your story exactly how you imagine it.
No. I like that they make the wit one
Tell
sound
your story
British.
exactly how you imagine it.
Did you like this first one?
Yeah, either that one or the last
Tell
one.
your story.
Let me see what
Tell your story exactly how you imagine it.
Tell your story exactly how you imagine it.
your pick. Give me a
Yeah,
name.
let's do mentor.
All right, let's do mentor. We will.
And for those of you that are audio only, by the way, we are scrolling through a list of voice options with names like Mentor, Rural, Professor, and Serenity. And Bob's going to go ahead and put the text in here, and then we're going to see what it sounds like.
This is also an area where it's kind of wild. There are literally millions of these rendered voices that are available, and it just so happens to be surfacing up these ones, maybe because they're popular, or maybe because they're whatever. The ability to go hyper specific and customize this stuff is very, very large. But again, we're making these choices to kind of revert to the mean or just go with what is popular. And pick our bets about where we want to go hyper custom or make this like feeling unique. And I think for the voiceover piece, we can just say, let's render this thing. And,
I think,
something that kind of is one size fits all.
yeah, one example is Bob created an internal company video, and his co-founder is French, and he gave him a French accent, which is something you can do with these, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. To just apply an accent over anything. All right, let's see. 16 seconds, that's the right length.
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. I'm Bob Moore, and along with Lindsey DeFalco, we're exploring the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale.
So the only thing I'm going to tweak here is, because it's like so obviously not my voice, maybe I'll just say
It sounds just like you.
I wish. Host Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco.
And so you mentioned, Bob, if we had more time, that you could actually have it imitate your own voice.
Yeah.
What does that involve?
So this is wild. I met the CEO from 11 Labs at an event somewhat recently, and he was telling this story about how there's a guy, maybe the most popular voice available on 11 Labs marketplace is this Spanish guy who doesn't speak any English, but his voice has become super virally used to speak English words. So like when this guy's voice, who's a native Spanish speaker, is used to speak English, it just sounds super cool for whatever reason. And a ton of people use it in their social videos and other things. So this guy is minting, I don't even know how much, but I'm just going to say like hundreds of thousands of dollars by virtue of other people paying to render his voice to say what they want on their TikTok videos. And the thing that's involved there is you just read a bunch of phrases to this thing, and it's able to kind of pick up on enough about how your voice functions to then extrapolate it out to being able to say anything in any language. And it's pretty wild. And you can choose whether or not to make it something that is publicly available on Marketplace. And then if people use it, then you get royalties on them using it, which is also super cool.
Like
So
Cameo.
it's fairly nuts, but they're, you can imagine the celebrity voices and other things that get like kind of under the radar impersonated on these things.
I was going to say it's like Cameo, but with no control over what people have you say.
Yes, which is absolutely terrifying and completely accurate. So I'm downloading this file. I'm going to call it voiceover. And then over here, I'm going to open up this other application called CapCut. Now, CapCut claims to be an AI product, but in reality, it's basically just a next generation of like iMovie or Adobe Premiere or, whatever you might want to consider yourself most familiar with in terms of classic video editing capabilities. So let me share screen on CapCut because it's in another entirely other window here.
Great. So this means that we have the voice. We've got our first.
That's right. We have our first component. And here in CapCut, I'm going to create a project, and I'm just going to take this voiceover that we just recorded, and I'm just going to drag it in. And here we go. So now
it's just showing a black screen, Bob.
Boo.
It's like being on a live Zoom.
Yeah. That's weird.
It showed the create a project, and then.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if I have to. It's like technically another window in my system window. So we're going to go share screen. Great. CapCut. So let me share audio. Okay, cool. You should see it now. So this is like your classic timeline view, and I just dragged the voiceover into it. So
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. Hosts Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco explore the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Slightly generic, but we're going to make it cool as hell. Next up, I actually want to go to background music.
All right.
And we're just going to continue on this like audio first. Because we don't have any dialogue in here, I might do this slightly differently if we had some dialogue, but I think getting the audio in place is going to really help us know when our video assets are like hitting and when they should transition and everything. So
Yep.
where that takes me
And this is where some of
is
the classic video editing comes in, right? Where you're looking at like the peaks and the valleys of the music and
totally,
timing
yeah.
the video clips with it.
Absolutely true. When we start dropping things in there, it's going to be very true. So here we are in our
No.
company Suno account. Oh, here's Eye of the Beamer, which got played in our end of quarter celebration yesterday, which is a great bop. But I won't punish everybody with that right now. What we want to do in Suno, so Suno is basically a music generator. It's disturbingly good. And you can do things with or without vocals. We're going to do an instrumental here. And what do you what kind of music do you want to have underneath this thing? Is there like a vibe you think we should go for?
Let's see, we're doing AI is the engine, ecosystems the fuel. Maybe we do something like Maverick, like Top Gun sounding.
So this is a great example of where I can try to say Maverick Top Gun, but it will yell at me if I name specific intellectual property that it's not supposed to be impersonating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say reminiscent of 80s
Fighter jets.
style fighter jet action flicks, inspirational, high in intensity, starts out immediately at full speed without much intro. This is the risk here because we have a 15-second long thing. My worry is going to be that it's going to make a 3-minute long audio and the first 15 seconds are just going to be this boring buildup. So we really need to tell it to just like come, guns blazing out of the gate here.
And is this more designed for full songs where you can't control it to say
It is. And if I knew this product much better, there is a way to go custom and you can get like really, really custom. So you can go all the way into what the lyrics are and like these really specific details. You can edit files. I may be able to mess with length there, but I'm hoping to just get lucky and find 15 seconds we like. So it's already created these two Afterburner anthems. So let's listen to these two. Very 80s like techno synth.
Starts out strong.
Yeah. Oh, better? All right, we have our winner. I'm not even going to listen to 15 seconds. We're on a timeline here. So it's funny. It's still rendering. I can't even download it yet. Some of this AI stuff, by the way, reminds me of being a kid in the 90s and downloading like JPEGs one horizontal line at a time. Like we're back in this era where we watch things render as they make it out the other end. And it's funny with music, you would think maybe it doesn't happen so linearly, but it really does. Like it's able to stream this, but
it's it was like the torrenting when you'd watch the file load in pieces and you had like the last 5 seconds of the song and the middle 2 seconds, but not the whole thing.
Totally.
Disclaimer, of course I didn't torrent anything.
Never got a cease and desist at the
no, of
company
course
office.
Not. All right, great. So this thing,
Almost
we're waiting for this thing to load. Looks like it's almost there. And so then next up, basically we're pulling this into CapCut and we're going to layer it on top of the voiceover that we have.
Exactly. We're going to drop this right back into CapCut. And so we can move on to the next thing while this is finishing its render because it's
all right.
still
So voiceover music. We've got a bit of a theme. So what's next? Video clips?
Yeah. So here's what I want to do. Here's my secret with videos. I'm hopping back over. Here we are back in Gemini, where we got our script and everything. I almost like it told us what clips we want, but I kind of want to. Oh, this is actually not bad. Let's just give it. There's some clips here that are the generic ones, but then there's this one really specific clip where it's you and me. And when there are people that I want to accurately represent, rather than go directly into VO, which is the thing that makes the videos, and say, hey, here's a picture of me, here's a picture of Lindsay, give me this. I find that it's way more successful to use Google's Nano Banana image generation tool to generate a single frame that is really, really representative of the visual that I want to have in the video clip, and get that frame right, and then load that frame into the thing that makes the videos and bring it to life.
That's
So I'm
That's it's a fascinating pattern that you're doing that with video, because I feel like that's something that with most AI tools that at least I have evolved to do. It's, if I'm generating an image, I'm going to riff to get as specific as possible before I do the thing that takes the longest time. So it's fascinating that you arrived at that. Probably, I'm assuming after creating a lot of really bad video clips is how
yeah.
you got there.
It's also uh, as I've been working on this stuff, the video models have gotten better and better. And there was a
Mhm.
time when Nano Banana didn't exist yet, and this pipeline didn't even make sense because the image generation wasn't good enough. And there was also a time when you couldn't use any frame as like a first frame, and you just had to go based on text descriptions. So being in this zone where we've kind of got both of those things available to us, I want to take full advantage of both of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Excellent. All right.
and
So talk me through what you're doing here then. Looks like you're dropping my LinkedIn photo in.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm still in Gemini, and I just use this create images. But I've got, and I'm going to use Pro here. So Nano Banana Pro, and I'm on this Ultra account that is like, gives me a lot of credits and access to tools and stuff. So this is going to be, the best possible way of trying to get at this. I'm giving our 2 pictures, and I'm giving it literally what it itself told me that it wanted to see for this clip 2 piece. So, but
Great.
again, here, this is Nano Banana only does still images. So all we're trying to generate here is like the first frame, like a representative frame of what we might want in the video.
Okay.
So it's doing a bunch of work on that.
Excellent. And
Uh,
for people who are just listening, it says to generate a still frame of a sleek, futuristic boardroom table where hyper-real avatars of Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco, photos attached, are manipulating a 3D holographic map of tech integration. So this is set up to be pretty epic. Wow.
Whoa, look at us.
Wow, look at that.
It's not terrible. We kind of look like ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a little cheesy with this like hologram, but also maybe that's kind of the point.
And also, yeah, it
Hey,
looks
we're
like
on a timeline, so let's grab it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna download the full size version of this image, and I am going to hop over to our final tool that we're gonna use that we haven't seen yet, which is
Woohoo.
and I'm gonna create a new project in Google Flow. Google Flow is where you access the Google VO video rendering model, which is the real workhorse powerhouse thing that exists here. And I'm going to use a method called frames to video, and I'm going to upload. You can see all kinds of great previous things that I've used as first frames in past videos. I'm going to upload this thing that we just generated. And it needs this like widescreen orientation. So I'm going to crop it down to like just the best bits here.
Do you want to?
Save?
Oh,
And
I wonder if it's going to. I think you cut off the AI ecosystem name. Now I'm curious if it's going to recognize the word and spell it.
really cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to use I'm actually going to use the fast model instead of quality. I think that's probably good enough here. And I'm going to say, these 2 AI thinkers manipulate the hologram model while having a discussion about AI trends and partnerships. Now, the funny thing about this is we don't need any audio here, but this model can't help itself. It has to insert audio. It will not give you, I can't even tell it to not generate audio for me. So when we get it into CapCut, we're just going to cut off whatever audio it gives us. But a side effect of this is because it can't help itself, it will make up its own dialogue, and that dialogue will probably be extremely stupid or awkward or useless. And sometimes it comes out with the most ridiculous stuff.
So that's something that is newer or has improved a lot. Talk to me a little bit about dialogue and Because I know
Yeah.
you've also inserted your own dialogue here as well. So
This is really, in my opinion, the biggest breakthrough on that Google VO like changed the game for, because there were video editing capabilities like OpenAI had the first version of Sora before Sora 2 came out, and there were some earlier Google VO models, but they didn't have vocals, they didn't have dialogue in them. And when VO 3 came out, and I think some of the later VO 2 models, they started in the background. What Google's doing is rendering. It's probably going to 11 Labs, and it's rendering. Maybe it's got its own models, and then the video model is able to basically lip sync to the voices that have been rendered, and the video kind of like works around that. So you'll see some discussion going on here that we're not going to use as I play these, just to give you a sense of how that works, even though we're not going to use it in this case.
If we rotate this, the data flow becomes clearer.
Agreed. And this blockchain integration is the key trend.
We must leverage that partnership synergy. If we rotate
That's
this,
a blocknership. What does that say?
Blockchain integration is
Blocknership.
wow.
I feel like it's not our winner, but you get an idea.
this sector is showing exponential growth.
and by activating these decentralized nodes, we visualize the partnership impact.
The synergy is undeniable.
Oh,
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like the synergy is undeniable, and I'm just going to use this one without.
Do I disappear at the end too?
I think you do turn into a phantom and disappear. Sorry about that. It was nice knowing you.
I become one with the hologram, I think.
We will crop that out. So let's tell you what. Let's hop right on back over to CapCut.
And my favorite part about you using my headshot that's 11 years old is that I still have half of my head shaved, and the AI really doesn't miss that fact anytime it generates videos. So it's great.
This is the Lindsey era that I feel like I most missed out on, is your shaved head era. You arrived at Crossbeam.
Yeah, I was right at the end of that.
Very tail end of that.
And so I know we're doing the voiceover here. That music is hopefully done at some point. But you've made videos where you're putting your own dialogue in there. And are you doing that in with VO, like in the video generation step, or are you doing that in a different step?
Totally. So right inside of VO, in the prompt, you can just tell it what you want the people to say. So you can give that dialogue. And if it has ever appeared like it's actually my voice, it's actually not. And because it lines up so well with a face that looks like my face, you kind of fool people into saying like, oh, maybe that actually was Bob saying that thing. Not that anyone's fooled by my cowboy accent in the Jay McVeigh video.
One thing I've noticed about the AI video renderings of people is that they're usually generous.
They are very. Everybody ends up with like a little bit more of a
little stricter jawline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn off this stuff. So now we have two things to add in here. We got our Afterburner anthem, which is our audio, which I'm going to underlay here, and we got our video, which this is. We're going to use this at the part here in the audio where it says our names. So we're going to need another video clip for like the lead in, but just here we can start to get a sense of like, and I'm going to give a little time before the voiceover starts to kick in. So we'll let the audio kick in. You can see on the timeline here. So this is the audio, the music down here, which I'm also going to make a little more quiet than the default so we can hear the voiceover. And then the voiceover will kick in, and then at the right moment, our video will come in, and we just need to fill in the gaps now. So let's see what this looks like just with my gut shot.
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. Hosts Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco explore the intersection of AI and partnerships.
So pretty solid there.
Yeah.
The few little things I would change. There's a little bit of like there's like a millennial pause right here in the beginning of the audio that I think we can get rid of.
And that background music is pretty loud too.
It's pretty loud. Oh, and I didn't mute. You could hear us talking nonsense here, so I'm gonna fully mute that. And then I'm going to bring the background music down even more. And I don't want to bring this up because you can see these red lines here. This is like clipping, which means it's like so loud. So I'm actually going to bring this down too, and then this down even more. We can always like do a little bit of like mastering at the end. All that really matters is the proportionality between these audio pieces. So, all right, let's see where we're at now.
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. Hosts Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco explore the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale.
Cool.
feel like I have a great
So,
idea for the first clip now too.
all right, what do you got?
All right, so I think we should do. We've got this '80s theme. It's a bit, Top Gunny. They're talking about the engine and the fuel. Then should we do something with like a fighter jet? And
Oh yeah.
they're filling it with ecosystem. The engine's AI, and it takes off.
Generate. Okay. Show a fighter jet being fueled up with ecosystems and data before firing up its engines and taking off rapidly down a runway. Now, this is a crazy prompt, right? This is like an absolutely insane prompt because so much has to happen in 8 seconds. And like this is where we're giving so much creative authority to VO that it's either going to blow our minds or it's going to give us something so silly that's going to like
And no
maybe
starter frame.
also be good for these purposes. But
Yeah, and this will be an example without having that starter frame too, to
yeah,
see
totally.
what it does creatively. So while this
Uh,
loads, I'm curious
yeah.
because we've used what 4 tools now. What's the average cost when you're creating one of these promo videos? Let's say the ones you do for Crossbeam, and how much do you think we've spent so far just now today?
Yeah. So all of these are like in theory, they're credit-based systems with credit-based consumption, but every single one of them, it's virtually impossible to just buy a credit. You have to be on some kind of subscription plan, and a subscription plan is going to give you a pool of credits. And if you go over, then you can buy more. So my Suno subscription, I want to say, is like $10 a month. Artlist, I have a bunch of credits that I got for free as a result of some other project thing that I did, but I guarantee you that voiceover rendering like on a $10 a month plan or whatever we could have done. Gemini, we actually have included free with like our Crossbeam, like we use Google Workplace, whatever. Gemini's costless on the margins. And then for VO, this is where I don't even charge this to Crossbeam. I just use my personal account because I do so many funny things like just in my spare time with this. That account, that Ultra account, is $250 a month, and that gets you access to a ridiculous amount of credits and also access to things like Nano Banana Pro. I think you can pay as little as like $20 a month and get like 90% of the way there. And for purposes of like what we're doing here, you could probably do it. So I would say to make a nearly unlimited number of these kind of productions, you could be spending less than $100 a month, and end to end. And even that might be overkill. All right, so cool. This is like.
All right, we got some videos.
All right, it's got a little trouble achieving liftoff there.
I know it didn't take off, so.
This one says ecosystems and data. That's kind of cool. That might be really cool. The thing is, oh man, and it's taking off.
That one
Ecosystems and
actually
data
got off
are
the ground.
also polluting the environment. This is great. This might be our winner. Let's look at the other ones just because they're so whack. Fueled up on the engine. Whoa.
Ooh.
Pretty cool.
And this one, the wings are glowing with ecosystems and data.
Not bad. This one looks like it. Whoa.
Ooh, I don't know.
Which one do you like?
I think I like that last one because there's also a lightning bolt in the sky that's pretty dramatic.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna do.
So that did a pretty good job without starting with a starter image, but you can tell because none of them have the same starter image, which is different than the last example we did.
Well, yeah, that's really true. That's incredibly good observation, right? When you don't force the starting image, it's basically 4 totally independent parallel renderings, and it's like you're never going to get the same thing twice.
Yep.
So cool. I'm going to pop back over to CapCut. So we have our next clip. And this part of the process is the one that I have the most fun with because in theory, I could generate all this stuff and then slap it all together at the end. It's just not how I like to work. What I like to do is watch this thing come to life one clip at a time because it does give you a lot of freedom to adjust on the fly. So I just added this jet engine video and we're going to add this in here and very likely just like cut here. And let's see what this gives us.
AI.
Oh, forgot to get rid of the audio. Although this thing has kind of cool audio because it's just like afterburners kicking in. So I'm going to leave it there, but I'm going to leave it really soft because I don't want it overpowering the voiceover.
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. Hosts Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco explore the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech.
Not bad, not
cool,
bad.
yeah.
I think we're kind of in business here. I'm going to turn on snapping and magnets here just to make these things like perfectly line up. So, great.
Coming
Now,
together.
it's all coming together. So now we just probably need like one more final thing. And I also will show how I like to like put some text on screen or something at the end, which is
partnerships. From
so
deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale.
all right. So do you have any ideas for what visual we went there, or should we go back to what Gemini told us to do?
Let's check out what Gemini said. The thing that came to mind when it said architecture of scale was skyscrapers, which is a different type of architecture. But
You know, if I love one thing, it's mixed metaphors.
there you go.
Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, look at this though. It's mixing metaphors too. A massive bridge of light slamming into place, two floating digital cities.
There you go.
Oh, cool. All right. I actually kind of like both. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go speed round here because I'm going to render clip 3 and clip 4 because I also like the fact that it incorporated the name of the podcast into the thing. So I'm going to hop over here we're going back to Flow. And I'm going to take this that it asked for and I'm going to say, great, go ahead and do it verbatim. And then I'm going to grab this clip 4 text and I'm going to make another thing. And you can do as many of these in parallel as you want. I don't have to wait for these to finish to do 4 more. So with a tagline of listen now, wherever.
And so I know we're doing different clips here, but, you know, I don't know if we talked too much about the length limitation of the clips here. So what if you did, you know, you did our holiday video at Crossbeam and the whole thing looked consistent, coherent. It was this awesome claymation video. How do you keep the style through multiple clips if you want more than, 8 seconds?
This is a great question. While these are rendering, let me hop out to that exact project and I'll show you what my queries look like. Was it in another account? Where's my...
I love that it looks like you're also using AI for family videos.
Oh yeah, totally. This is like, there's so much. Well, here, this is actually a project that's useful. This is from one of these promo videos that I did that is related to like a 90s TV sitcom. So this was like step-by-step or Family Matters like style opening video here. So so you can see that in the actual query, this gets much more detailed. And you can also use Gemini or ChatGPT to help you render these, but like a very high percentage of this is the same in every single one of them, right? So a nostalgic 90s film opening in the style of Full House and Family Matters, warm golden hour lighting, soft lens flare, filmed on 35 millimeters, slightly grainy texture. All this stuff is the same every single time. And the only thing different in this query is this. A block party shows people dancing on a busy residential street in Philly. So, and then if you go back here, right, you can see that one's a little more generic, but this thing over and over and over again, but just showing different visuals, right? Same exact thing. And this is so funny. Here you go. Same exact thing, right? Only here it says a city bus reading ELG Summit rolls down a busy residential street, etc. So by having some consistency in the query description, you can match a lot of things related to camera styles and else.
Okay.
I have no idea why. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and you, I think you said you had a trick too for if you wanted clips that are longer, like you want to continue a clip essentially.
Yeah, totally. So all you need to do really for that is to take the final frame of the footage that you want and make it the first frame of the next thing. And Google VO now does that for you automatically. You can like extend a clip and it'll give you 8 more seconds. You can give the query. That works. And the problem is all it's getting as input is the visuals of that last query. So like it will not make your voice consistent necessarily. It will not always necessarily make the way that if the camera was in motion when it cut, it may not be smooth motion in the same style because it doesn't actually have the full context of what it generated before.
Okay, so if it's the back of your head, it might not actually know what your face looks like.
Exactly. That's exactly right. If you're turned away on the end of the thing and then you turn back around, you may look like a totally different person. So they're still ironing out the kinks more than 8 seconds. Which, I mean,
wow, yeah,
like fine, kind of cool. Looks violent. This one looks like the Death Star, like blowing up planet Alderaan.
Yeah, it kind of looks like they're being attacked.
Yeah, it's a little violent. Oh, this is a little more constructive, maybe. Explosions.
These look a little bit like the Values Islands and Inside Out, if anyone's seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, way too explosive. So I'm going to tweak this a little. A massive bridge of light. Oh, it says slamming. That's like a violent verb. So bridge of light, gently extending into place, connecting to floating digital systems, technical. And I'm also going to make this like somewhat photorealistic, futuristic, because I think this feels a little too animation-y, and I think just by adding that in, it'll give us a little more of a maybe something that feels connected to reality. So here's for the outro what it gave us. Great. I was into it. I was so into it until it tried to render text.
Those aren't words.
Those are not words. It's supposed to say available anywhere. Yeah, if you're listening exclusively, it says the AI ecosystem, and then it's supposed to say available anywhere podcasts. You listen to podcasts, and instead it says, I don't even know what it says, but those are not
available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Here it is, forcing audio in.
The AI ecosystem.
Oof, rough.
Wow.
This is, by the way,
AI ecosystem. Available anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Oh, that's not bad, but it says listen with an EM. So this is actually where,
and it says ecosystem. Yeah.
Nice.
Why is the text so bad? I thought the models had gotten much better with being able to actually spell things. Is this the model you're using?
Yeah. So this is where there's a gap between what they have tuned these models to be strong at. And I think it is actually when the text appears later, as opposed to being on the first frame, I actually think it's more likely to fail because the like incremental frame rendering model is not always the same as the first frame rendering model that I think it's using to like establish a lot of this stuff. So yeah, if you go to ChatGPT or Gemini and ask it for really specific text, it'll nail it. But in VO, especially if it shows up late, it's not as good. I'm also using the fast model, not the quality model here.
Okay.
There you go. There's our bridge getting built. That's a little more.
That's nice.
Still kind of explodes when it hits the other one. It's a little like, let's see if we have anything a little more gentle here. I also don't know that I would call this photorealistic.
Yeah, I don't think it still looks pretty animated-y.
Yeah.
That one's kind of cool because it's multiple.
Yeah, you know
Get
what?
in there.
We're almost out of time. Let's grab this one. So we'll call this bridge. And meanwhile, we've got, okay, here's our next version of AI ecosystem. The AI ecosystem. Great. Just double what we need.
The AI ecosystem.
It can't help itself but say something. Why is he doing
so
it
close.
again? Ah, man. It's somehow worse with less letters. Hey, there you go. Weird icon, but maybe I can tolerate it.
Yeah, it's quite the logo.
Ecosystem. All right, look, I'm going to pick the one that
Ecosystem.
Yeah. You know what? Taisha made those really cool like promo things that have a logo and stuff. We could potentially actually use that.
Start with that. So it feels like text. If you're going to do text, it's best to start with a still image.
I believe that to be true. Yes.
All right. So while Bob is doing that, we've got our multiple video clips. We've got our voiceover. We've got our music. It's all coming together. And we are struggling to have the text not be incoherent on these video clips with the AI ecosystem on the end of it here. So we're
So
gonna
the purpose
pull
is
in
a
a still
speed here.
asset. Yeah.
Let's head back over to CapCut. And I think we're ready to basically finish the job. And while um, we've gone about this a little haphazardly, what's kind of cool, so we have the bridge we can bring in here, and then we're going to end up using this like logo thing. So let's bring the bridge in. Now, we're not going to have enough time in the audio for the whole thing, but
Or the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale.
it's
Yeah, that
cool.
works pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you cut that there, and then I think what we can do is just have the logo bit.
Of scale.
We can kind of like start this a little later because we're out of audio at this point. We can also generate just a little more audio, which I may do real quick without changing windows here. Listen to the AI Ecosystem podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. A little redundant, but listen to
Little
the AI Ecosystem anywhere you listen to podcasts. And I'll hit go, and it's going to use the same thing. So I'll have that in a second. But in the meantime, let's watch this from the beginning and just see what vibe it's given us.
right.
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. Hosts Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco explore the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale.
And then we'll just need a little bit more audio, and it's like game over. So let's see here what we got.
Listen to the AI ecosystem anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Cool. I'm going to download
There we
that.
go.
And we'll call this the plug. And we can drop in the plug audio here. Now you'll notice that really we've kind of spent about 30 minutes to make about 15 seconds. And that's about consistent to me. Like usually I'm spending about an hour to make a minute of rendered video. However, just fathom what it would have cost in time and production to put something like this together, without this. It
Yeah.
would be quite a bit.
And that's once we watch this final version, I'm gonna ask you about your experience with CapCut and what you would do if you built an alternative. So
Oh yeah, don't get me started, but yes, you feel free to get me started. All right, cool. So let's watch this end to end and see what we did.
AI is the engine, but the ecosystem is the fuel. Hosts Bob Moore and Lindsey DeFalco explore the intersection of AI and partnerships. From deep tech integrations to the future of the channel, this is the new architecture of scale. Listen to the AI ecosystem anywhere you listen to podcasts.
So two things I want to do here. One
Turn
is
that up.
that got a little soft, so we're gonna turn that up a little bit. Let's just.
This is the new architecture of scale. Listen to the AI ecosystem.
All right, that's
There we
better.
go.
And then the other thing I want to do is just a little bit of a softer transition out for the
Ooh.
audio. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of like, so it doesn't end as abruptly. We're gonna have it kind of like fade. It could even go.
Okay. Is that doing like a fade music out and a fade to black?
Exactly, yeah. So you're getting this like gradual fade, and you can see it like up here. I could do it as well, but I just used the shortcut down in the editor.
New architecture of scale. Listen to the AI ecosystem anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And it
Nice.
didn't actually. Oh, I see. That's what it did. This needs to go out. I meant to do a fade out animation on this video clip. Oh, and we can do cool stuff. These animations, right? So we could actually.
Oh, okay.
It shouldn't be like a little bit of this like black hole thing. So there you go.
Architecture of scale. Listen to the AI ecosystem anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah. So then we can render that thing and put it right out on LinkedIn or wherever else. So look, this is maybe the worst possible, like most generic kind of weak sauce way of doing this because we didn't really have a vision. We kind of had Gemini tell us what to do. But again, just to demonstrate the power and the workflow for this, it's pretty profound.
Yeah. And this was really, really cool for me to see because, like I said, you've been making these videos and You put them on Slack, you put them on LinkedIn. I had absolutely no idea how much went into it, how much was manual, how much was AI. So kind of on that point, you said like you're using CapCut at the end. You're just stitching things together. You're stitching together all the different components of a video. And we talked about, how that requires a lot of the taste. But is there not a tool, like an AI tool that does that? You went to a bunch of different tools to do all the different pieces of this. Is it still
Yeah.
pretty separate like that?
I am going right to the source of all of the models that I think are the best ones for my purposes right now. And there are definitely services where, like that art list that I used to go grab the voiceover just because I had credits. Art list itself is basically just a wrapper on all these models. So I could stay in Artlist and I could generate pictures with Nano Banana Pro. I could generate voiceovers. I could generate videos. What I can't do in Artlist is literally edit a video timeline and put these things like back to back and layer them in with each other. And I think that's the piece that I guarantee you there will be some product that's worth a lot of money that probably Adobe will end up buying that is kind of like the next generation CapCut or like linear video editor that combines generative AI technologies with just like traditional editing, storyboarding, and kind of sequencing capabilities. And CapCut claims to do it. And in fact, in CapCut, you can generate a video, you can generate still images and audio, but because the tool is not AI native, it's serving too many user personas at the same time. And the experience is dominated by these classic deterministic, like, I want this transition, I want this ability to import this file from this place, as opposed to being something where its job is basically to facilitate you tying all these things together. So that wave of technology, I'm sure, is coming. If I was building another company right now, it's probably what I would be building. But somebody's going to crack it, and it's going to save me a lot of tab switching, at least when that day comes.
And so, in the spirit of ecosystems, which is the other part of this podcast here, do you think that the answer here with all of these different components of this process is that they will all better integrate with each other? Or do you think there's a one product to rule them all that uses all the models under the hood? Or where do you see this going in terms of what is happening with AI and how they're working with ecosystems right now?
Yeah, that's a great question because there's like the foundational models, there's a lot of increased specialization going on. 11 Labs is like really got to hang on this voice thing. For my dollar, I think Google, is kind of ahead of the pack on video. And I like Sword too. I think there's a lot of potential there, and they've made some cool decisions around the use of characters and identities and stuff that Google hasn't quite figured out. But I most bang for my buck right now is still the Google VO models for video. I think ChatGPT is like a really great kind of LLM to have a discussion with about coming up with how to write the prompts to actually put into these things. So maybe there will be some like coalescence of all these things, and maybe Google or OpenAI or somebody else will just like win on all dimensions. But for now, in a weird way, all these companies that kind of hate each other also are getting strong in really specific areas and ending up having these kind of interesting specializations. Like, Claude Code is on a real run right now with productivity, and there's all kinds of applications of Claude Code people are using it for outside of coding, just for like automation of all kinds of tools. I could see Anthropic getting in this game by creating like an agentic system for coordinating, going to all these tools and getting these things and pulling these assets together. So it does feel like an ecosystem approach is appropriate and maybe kind of exciting and interesting, but it's almost like you need some kind of independent, like Switzerland of software development to tie them all together into one interface or one workflow or one kind of spawner of agentic swarms to go and do this work. Yeah.
Is that the product you would build?
That's like such a fantastic question. It's like, am I not enough of a futurist? Because what I should really do is just have an agentic swarm go do all this work. Why do I need to build like CapCut, but with all my native AI stuff in there? And that's like my human brain wanting to be enough of a control freak that I can still apply my taste, my like human taste layer over the whole thing. Whereas if it's an agentic swarm and I just give it a prompt like, hey, go, here's the script of Goodfellas, go make it. The swarm I think would do it. And I think, by the way, we will have the ability to just drop a movie script, a 90-minute long movie script into a single input, and there will be like an agentic swarm that spins up and completely manufactures that movie and sends it back to you in less time than it takes to watch the movie. Within 2 years, I think we'll be there. And that'll be cool, but it may be tasteless, and it may be like a shell of a reflection of what Scorsese was able to do with Goodfellas. So the question is, where and how do you get that like human creative layer in, and how do you create that feedback loop if everything is happening in a black box when the agents are doing the work? So there is a little bit of like a creativity gap there that I think is going to continue to make people think that all this stuff is slop. There's the buzzword of the day that I'm shocked we haven't used yet, which is like AI slop is basically how most people would probably describe the video that we just made, because it's just like this cheesy looking, very obviously AI stuff kind of slammed together with some kind of message where we're trying to sell you something. And like a lot of the world really hates that right now. We're going to get away from people being able to tell what's slop and what's real really quickly. And we're going to get into longer form stuff. And all that's left will be creativity and curation and taste. To me, I think creating like productizing what sits at the intersection of taste and wild efficiency that comes out of using these models, that's going to be where there's like the product market fit for the next 2 to 5 years before this stuff gets so good that you don't even need that, which I'm sure that day will also come.
Yeah. Yeah, we're at this interesting, I'd call it like a look what I can do phase with a lot of this technology. It's anything that it's doing is impressive when it's something you haven't seen before. I do think the taste conversation is really important because I think that's what people have really been honing with ChatGPT and just text-based AI, is really like how to use it well, how to not be generating a bunch of AI slop. And I think that same thing is really happening with all the different types of AI, like the video creation. I think it's something we're all learning as we go, and there's obviously a lot of discourse in different industries where video is much more prominent. For us, it's more of just a side project, kind of nice to have component of what we do. So it's I think lower stakes in terms of generating AI slop. But yeah, I love that we brought it back to taste, because I really do think that's still that's the most human component to creating anything compelling still, and that will remain true for a while, if not forever.
You make me think of this worthwhile anecdote on the slop front, which is I was at a dinner last week, and one of the people at the dinner is a TikTok personality who's got like 1 million some odd followers, and he put a video out around the holiday time that was just like a happy holidays video, and it was a cartoon version of himself just saying like, "Happy holidays, everybody, see you next year." On TikTok, about half of the comments were "Happy holidays, love you, see you next year," and about half the comments were, "How dare you use AI to generate content that a human could have generated? How many gallons of water got used to make this AI slop?" Like all that stuff. On Instagram, it was 100% "How dare you use AI to generate this stuff?" And on LinkedIn, it was 0%. How dare, and a lot of like excitement and enthusiasm around it. And I think it does say something interesting about like, depending on your echo chamber, the social response to the existence of this stuff and like the narratives around why it is good or bad or exciting or problematic are very, very different, but they are very, very real. And you can see these kind of like cultural divides emerging. But I think the one truism is what that guy's followers don't know is that every single one of his videos, he runs through like AI filtering, AI post-processing, AI manipulates his appearance, AI manipulates his voice. And the line between slop and not slop, I think, is people's ability to perceive it as such. And like ironically, as the AI gets better and stronger, I think the resistance will actually go down because the differentiation is going to be harder. And it's like a sad statement if you're someone that believes that this stuff is inherently bad, but it also is, it just like speaks to the inevitability of all of it and how refusing to participate in it runs the risk of creating a disadvantaged situation where it's not even well understood, because we're on a path where it's going to be part of our society, whether the bulk of the society likes it or not.
Yeah, and even that example, there's we're in tech, obviously, in roles that are both surrounded by and deeply embedded in using AI, working with AI, understanding how it's built, how it works, and what its impact is. There's a large part of the population that purely knows about AI because of social media AI videos and AI photos and how scary realistic they are and how hard it is to tell if it's AI or not. And so it is also different because the knowledge, education, and like you said, perception around it varies so widely based on, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. I think there's like you said, we could probably do an entire podcast on the ethics of AI. It kind of sounds like we're advertising that that's our next one. I don't think it is. Maybe though. Um, yeah, there's a lot there, and I think there's a lot still that's really unknown because the future is so uncertain with all of it right now. So
Yeah, absolutely wild. Well, thanks, Lindsay, for
yeah,
leading us down this path and indulging my hobby that I masquerade as part of my job.
it was great, super educational for me. I've always been curious about what all goes into editing those, and I was very surprised about the different parts that were, human generated versus AI generated. So it was definitely a treat. Thank you for walking us through that. And yeah, I think we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all later.